Typically, that's we, Bishop Dwayne David Royster, and myself, Mark Kelly Tyler. We are here. Now he's getting some much needed R&R, and don't worry, let me get mine in. You know that. And so, got to pilot this ship solo today, but I am not alone because after all, I have all of you. What would the show be without all of you? I mean, really and truly. This is wonderful having all of you here on YouTube, on Facebook Live. I hear there are a couple of you out there on Twitch. Sorry we don't shout you out as much. But yeah, then of course all of the listeners, because this is a talk radio station. So on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, on WURDradio.com, and all the different ways that you listen and interact, we greatly appreciate you. And so I don't feel like I'm necessarily here by myself. And of course, there's also the fact that the station would never, under any circumstance, in their right mind, leave me here by myself. Nope. That's why they got Kawesa here. They tell me she's here because she's got to work the board and do all of that stuff, but I know why she's really here. I do know. What's up, Kawesa, the queen?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. And at some point, we got to talk about your state wilding out, sending like attack dogs at restaurants, man. But we'll get to Jersey acting like Alabama in a moment. Before, how's the traffic and weather? I know how the dog situation is, the security. How's traffic and weather?
Well, traffic really was not too bad today, at least, on my journey. So I can't complain about that too much. There's always a couple trucks that I end up getting stuck behind, but I think that's just kind of normal because it's so early in the morning. I guess they're trying to beat, the major traffic. So I feel like that's usually why I get stuck behind them. But, outside of that, the weather, it's still cool. It's still cool today. It felt really nice kind of coming out. I think it was like the upper 50s, maybe like 60 degrees out there. So I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I needed a jacket or anything, but the temperature definitely is a lot cooler than it has been, the past couple of weeks. So yeah, I don't think it's going up too high, like 80 or something like that today. So yeah, not too bad.
Ooh, all right. That's what I'm talking about, because next week it is going to be a heat wave. And so you all get ready and enjoy this right now while you can. Yesterday I had a jacket on last night riding the bike home. Luckily, I threw it in the saddlebag before I left. Something said, it might be cold coming home. It was cold this morning. It was like, it wasn't cool. It was cold. And so, but again, we'll take that right now here in the beginning of August. Just kind of a reminder that, fall is on the other side of this. And so today we're going to be joined by State Senator Art Haywood, who is going to talk to us about the problem that many Americans are facing, especially right here in this region, with eviction. We touched on this a little bit yesterday. And in fact, so I'm just been kind of like, looking at this, and this really might even be this might even be kind of where we thematically post up for the week, because there's so many different ways to talk about the eviction moratorium. So there was a town hall last week, for example, put on by Councilmember Gim and Black clergy. And if you've seen the comments of the president of Black clergy, Reverend Collier, in the Philadelphia Tribune, and Bishop J. Lewis Felton as well, the vice president, they had some really strong and interesting things to say. And so I think we need to talk to local leaders. Be good to hear some of the folk on the national level. Congressman Evans is there and has been working on this in D.C. And even right now, I know that there are activists. I have friends who are there in D.C. Our very own Reverend Nicholas O'Rourke is there in D.C. camping out. I mean, again, everybody is hitting this from different angles. And of course, I think it's always important to hear from those who live closest to the pain. So if we can find persons who are out there who've been struggling, who really kind of, you know, their story kind of expresses what's going on. Those are the kind of, stories I think we need to hear. And so I know that often we kind of bounce from one to another, but want to see if we can kind of hold this lane this week around the epidemic that is on the way unless something happens around housing insecurity. We don't want to see anybody put out on the street. All right. And so, again, that's just kind of just setting the stage for you for the week ahead. And there are plenty of people who can talk about all of that and more. Before we get there, though, can I tell you an amusing story that's out there? You might appreciate this, Kawesa, because you drive in every day into Philly. According to the National Chamber of Commerce, Philadelphia has the best roads in the country. I'm going to sip my coffee now. Wait for that to hit social media. Wait for that to hit Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So I can watch them just explode with comments. Philadelphia has been voted best roads of any major city in America. Yep. Yes, the lies I tell. Yes. Renee said baloney. I said, that's a whole bunch of hooey. Yes. Nikki O'Tim said they didn't go to the hood to check the roads. Well, Nikki O'Tim, you're absolutely right. Deborah calls them lies. Sandra says, that's hogwash. We're all trying to find the strongest condemnation we can do without using words that will be banned. There is literally, yes, Catfish Hillbilly says, not in Germantown. You could kind of insert any place in the city, you could put that in just about. Yeah, I've got let me see. We've been here in the region almost 20 years now. That's hard to believe. We got here in 2003. See how long y'all been stuck with me? And I got to tell you, because I always put rims on my cars. Well, I used to. I literally gave up putting rims on my cars. It's just nice rims. I'm like, aftermarket. It's why? The guys over at my favorite tire shop over in Camden, they haven't seen me in a while. They're like, yo, what's up, man? Where you been? I'm like, dude, Philly wore me out, bro. I just got tired every time I put tires on, put rims on, leave you. Before I can get home into Philly, bam, broke a rim, dented a rim, blew out a tire. Or in one case on the 76, blew out the front and back tire on the same side on the same pothole, blew the tires out and busted the rims wide open like somebody hit it with a sledgehammer. The tow truck driver said, what did you hit? I said, I hit Philly. He said, oh, got it. And yes, to the folk who are out there like Taliba and Mabel, that if Philly has the best roads in the country of all major cities, God help the rest of the country. I don't even want to go to Chicago then. I don't even want to go to Atlanta. Sandra Fields lost a rim yesterday. Rest in peace. So let me explain to you how this happened. Because I make light of it, but it is such a perfect story to illustrate almost everything Bishop and I talk about on this show, literally encapsulated in this ridiculous story. The study done by the National Chamber of Commerce selected their own area to research. So they had these little vehicles go around with cameras and sensors and things of that nature. It just so happens they only did Center City of Philadelphia, Center City. So from the Art Museum over to Fifth, down to Bella Vista, which is right below where my church is in Queen Village. So they went to the most expensive zip codes in the city and just rode around. Just rode around. Oh, these are really nice streets in Philadelphia. Yeah, Tawanda said her airbags almost deployed. She hit a pothole going to the power office one day. That's North Philly. And so they selected the best part of Philadelphia. And of course, you come out saying, wow, Philly streets are great as a major city. Because to the chamber, I mean, hey, look, you all did it, not me. Apparently, the only thing that matters is where the affluence and the downtown happens to be. Get it? Is this not, I mean, is there not a story that I mean, when you think about that, is there not a story that illustrates better all the disparity that we talk about on this show? So if you chose to go to schools, for example, in the same area, you're like, oh, Philly Public is great. Great schools. What are you all talking about? Blue ribbon. There's a line of people trying to get in. Housing in Philly is great. What are you all complaining about? What gun violence? City is super safe. You could walk around at night, ride your bike. There are cops all up and down the parkway. I mean, literally, is there a story that makes the point in the argument that we have been making on almost every issue? Is there a better story for it than this ridiculous story that driving around Center City, Philadelphia, says that Philly has the best roads of any major city in America? Yes, in those zip codes. But if you cross the bridge from the Art Museum over to West Philly into Mantua, if you stay on Market Street into West Philly, if you stay on Broad into North Philly, go down Broad into South Philly, past Bella Vista, if you go into the neighborhoods, what do you find? I mean, no shade to Afghanistan, but it looks like Afghanistan. There are places that look like bombs literally dropped, that I have to have memorized potholes on my route when I had to go in and out every day before the pandemic. It's like, uh-oh, wait a minute. Move left. Whew. Almost forgot this morning. Move right. Slow down. Because you have to memorize them before you tear the suspension up in your car. I totaled a motorcycle back in February or March of this year because it hit a pothole that was so bad it blew out both tires, like the car, broke both rims, and destroyed the front end. Thank God I didn't go down. But the guy came out to look. He said, dude, you don't just have flats. The adjuster, he said, your rims are busted. Did you look closely? I said, no. I said, look at your suspension. He said, it's not even worth fixing. What do you want to do here? I'm like, are you serious? That's Philly. And like everything else about what happens with these kind of studies that cherry pick what they want, that all of our care and concern, since I've been here in the last 20 years almost, I have watched Center City rise like a shining city on a hill. And what have we said? It has been at the expense of the neighborhoods. And that the same love that has gone into Center City and the new high rises, I mean, good God, Comcast, did you really need 2 skyscrapers? Wasn't one enough? But you had to have 2 because they're like earrings. I guess you have to have matching ones. And as it has gone up and the affluence has gone up, what has happened in the neighborhoods? It is like everything that was barely there has been extracted out. Hope you feel good about that story. Hell, the streets department laughed when they saw that. Those men and women in there like probably fell out their chairs. Hey, yo, Tommy, you see this story is crazy. We got the best roads in the country. LA must suck. Houston must be awful. Good God, never go to New Orleans. Of all major cities, we have the best roads. Yeah, right. And we have the best schools. Yep. And we have the best jobs that pay the best wages. Uh-huh. And we have the safest street. Yep, we sure do. Anyway, it's 6:21. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to State Senator Art Haywood about the looming eviction problem and what he'd like to see us do about it. This is the Power Hour. Don't go anywhere. And if you're driving on America's best roads, enjoy yourself. We'll be right back.
Build skills needed for employment through the Philadelphia Skills Forward Initiative, a free upskilling program for workers displaced by the pandemic, those whose jobs are at risk for automation, and Black and brown workers. Complete courses focused on digital literacy, career management, and professional skills for a successful career. Get started today at chamberphl.com.
Tune in to Denise Clay's Financial Literacy segment on Monday, August 9th at 3 p.m., sponsored by Wisfis Bank. For more information on boosting your financial know-how, visit the Knowledge Center at WSFSbank.com. Wisfis Bank, we stand for service.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Oh boy. Welcome back to the Power Hour. Coming to you from Philadelphia, the city with the best roads in America. So says a study by the National Chamber of Commerce, which even the people who work on roads think is laughable. But again, it points out, who said it best? I mean, it's the point I was trying to make. Catfish Hillbilly on YouTube says, so true. Those skyscrapers are our monuments to income inequality. Yeah, best roads in America and the worst roads in America, all in the same city. Good God. Best pay in America and worst pay in America, all in the same city. Best schools, Ivy League. We have an Ivy League school in Philadelphia, you all. University of Pennsylvania. It's not just a college. It's not just a university. It is part of the Ivy League. Some people just say, oh, no, it's an Ivy. And we have some of the worst schools in America, in the same city, all within the same city. So depending on where you choose to put your focus, well, heck, it's a great place to live. And I love Philly. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy all of the positive about it as well, and I embrace working on trying to change the negative. But you can't paint that kind of picture and go out there and sell it. It's ridiculous. Best roads in Philly. All right, on to better, well, I guess not better news, but a better person to hear from. State Senator Art Haywood this morning, who is an advocate for the people, tireless advocate for the people. I like to say he was an activist who just happened to take the road of elected office to continue his activism. He may disagree, but I think he probably think that's a fair characterization because he has not stopped. In fact, looking on his website, it even says his tagline is participation is power. He is here to talk to us about the looming eviction crisis. State Senator Art Haywood, good morning. Welcome to the Power Hour.
Good morning, Mark. Thanks so much for allowing me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this eviction moratorium coming to an end, the federal moratorium coming to an end, has a lot of people frightened and scared, obviously. What is it about this that you have been focusing on, and what is it that we really need to know?
It is a dangerous time In Pennsylvania, estimates that there are about 200,000 Pennsylvanians that are going to face eviction this month, and that does not include probably another 200,000 children that are in these families. Many of these individuals are black and brown, and many are headed by black and brown women. So we have a dangerous time when we're going to put people out on the street who don't have reliable income. As you know, in Philadelphia and across Pennsylvania, some are suffering from a minimum wage of $7.25, getting paid $8 an hour, $9 an hour, $10 an hour. So this is the real crisis that folks are facing in the community, and it could have devastating impacts for those families as well as the communities in those areas, because you know vacant property is a terrible stain on a community. And the landlords will be in dire shape if they begin to evict these folks. We do have a big opportunity here, though. There's millions of dollars of rental assistance for folks who lost employment or wages from COVID-19. About $1 billion has been placed in Pennsylvania for the rental assistance. Now, a lot of that has not gotten out. Last report I saw was only about 20% of that money has gotten into the hands of individuals facing eviction. So what we need to do now, on that question you raised, is in Pennsylvania, we need the courts to step in and say to landlords, you cannot evict a person who has applied for rental assistance. That's what the courts approved in Bucks County a couple days ago. You cannot be evicted if you have an application for rental assistance. We've got to get to that point now because the national government is not stepping up, and therefore we got to take the leadership right here in Pennsylvania.
All right, so wait a minute. So I saw a story. Where is it? And this was actually in the Trib this week about town hall that black clergy participated in with council member Gim. And in it, they were talking about the percentage of persons who are the percentage of funds that have not yet been tapped. And I mean, it was a high number. And that's for the city of Philadelphia. Is that true statewide? Is there money just basically sitting on the table is what I'm asking? There's a ton of money. My last estimate from a report I saw was only about 20%. Only about 20% of the money has gotten into the hands of tenants and landlords. So well over half the money across the state is not in the hands of landlords and tenants. Now, I do want to add some context to that. These counties are responsible for getting the money out. The counties got a lot of work to do, more than they've ever had to do before, strained somewhat like the unemployment compensation system was in terms of getting people paid for unemployment comp. Similar system, not capable at this time of meeting the demand. That's why we need an extension of the eviction moratorium so that the money that's due to people, this money is due, so that the money that is due to people can get into their hands, into the hands of the tenants, into the hands of the landlords. It makes no sense to evict someone who's got an application that, if approved, will catch them up. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, so how much, all right, let's use round numbers. So let's say my rent is $1,000 a month and I am 15 months behind and I go to apply. I mean, is it possible that I would get a check to cover all of that? Or, I mean, what does the typical rental assistance subsidy look like? Typical assistance is about $6,000. So if you're $15,000 in the hole, you're not going to get $15,000. You're not going to get the whole amount. But look at it like this:
if you're 15,000 in the hole, you're not going to get the full amount for rental assistance. So, but for a landlord, getting $6,000 is better than putting somebody out and then not really having another tenant that's going to be able to rent the place. It's not like we got a bunch of people available to rent apartments if they become vacant.
Mm-hmm.
So the best deal I would recommend for a landlord is, A, wait until the tenant can be approved for rental assistance, get that money, and make a payment agreement with the tenant for the balance.
So state senator. So we're talking to State Senator Art Haywood of the 4th District here in Pennsylvania, and a tireless advocate who, in fact, I know did a lot of work on housing and housing insecurity before even being elected. Let me ask what may seem to be an obvious question, but so it seems like a lot of tenants find it difficult to negotiate the system. And, again, if you're behind in your rent, if you're working $7.25 an hour, you got 2 of those jobs, you got a family, life is hard enough as it is, and you're scared to death because you're behind. Why not kind of, and maybe this is already the case, but doesn't seem like it, why not allow the landlords to go and apply for the subsidies versus the tenants, and maybe the tenants have to sign off on it, because there just seems to be so much more incentive for a landlord, especially like those homeowners who rent their houses or rent apartments in their homes. It seems like they would have a vested interest in getting paid. Is that even possible now? And if not,
yes,
is that something we can talk about?
Both can apply. Landlords can apply. Tenants can apply. Tenants can apply if the landlord doesn't want to participate. So, yeah, there's a lot of routes for the applications. And the applications are coming in. I don't want to give you the impression that applications are not coming in. Applications are being submitted. It's just that the system to approve these applications is not capable. They can't keep up. They haven't kept up. And therefore, that makes the extension of the moratorium even more compelling. Now, Joe Biden says he won't do it, and the Supreme Court has told him that he should not do it, and that the extension should not come from the administration, and that's against the Constitution. The Congress has not stepped up. I don't know exactly why they waited to the last minute to begin these various protests, since they really do have the power to legislate. But in any event, the U.S. Congress hasn't stepped up. So that leaves it to us, those who really going to have to feel the burden. And for us, I do want to share one thing with tenants. It is illegal in Pennsylvania to be locked out without a court order. It is illegal to be locked out by your landlord, changing the lock without a court order. In Pennsylvania, there's a court process that is required. Getting a decision by a judge is required. And fortunately, in Philadelphia, we have community legal services that provides assistance to tenants to help them with landlords. And we have TURN. I was on the board of TURN, an advocacy organization for tenants. Now, they're overwhelmed. I'm not trying to say they're under TURN and CLS under tremendous pressure. But a court order is required. A strict lockout is illegal in Pennsylvania without a court order.
All right, so that's good to know. So where can people go at this moment? Because again, if what you're saying is the best thing to do is to just even apply to have a chance at not being evicted. Where should, if somebody in my church calls me, Rev, I'm stuck, don't know what I'm going to do, and I say, well, this is where you should go in Philadelphia.
They should call PHDC, Philadelphia Housing Development Corporation. Now, PHDC, I was with them last week. They say for folks who use a phone, they should call 311. Now, Mark, I'm not sure your experience with 311. But that was the phone number. That was the phone number that was provided, 311. But it's the Philadelphia Housing Development Corporation is taking the applications and moving them forward here in Philadelphia. So that's the organization that is responsible. They've got a lot of staff working on these applications, but they still have money. They still have money for individuals. Second thing is, folks who are organized, not just everyday people, should put pressure on the courts and judges in Philly to stop the eviction of anyone who's got an application pending. The courts in Philly, the judges in Philly, should not evict people who have an application that's pending. And that's the decision that we need the judges that we elect, to respond to the needs of our people.
All right. There you have it from State Senator Art Haywood, who I didn't know this, that I didn't realize that you were a graduate of Morehouse. So I'm not surprised.
I am a proud graduate of Morehouse College.
So I'm not surprised by your leadership. So thank you so much, State Senator Haywood, and for all that you do. A lot of you all don't know. I'm telling you, we had to get him back on to talk about his work, with the minimum wage and trying to get wages. A lot of folk talk the talk, but you are certainly one that actually walks the walk. We appreciate you, and thanks for bringing this. We're going to continue this conversation with others this week about the looming eviction moratorium and what people can do. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care now.
Yep. Woo, man. So I saw in the comments, Joe Simmons asked, what can we do? I think you asked that, Joe, among the other comments that you made. And I was sitting there thinking the same thing, like, it seems like this could be an opportunity for some organizations. I mean, look, I know you can't put everything on everybody. I don't want to speak for power because we're not that kind of organization. We have to run things through everyone to get consensus. But this seems like this is one of those times where a lot of different groups, BLM, groups like Black Clergy is already speaking out about this right now. Power, Asian Americans United, that this is one of those kind of moments where folk can kind of unite around something simple like bringing education to people, because I've got to believe a lot of tenants are living in fear and just don't know that the money is there. You add to that, you probably have some folk in there whose, immigration status is questionable and don't really know how to access it. Maybe in those cases, it needs to be on the landlord. I'm not sure, but it just feels like it'd be one thing if there was no money on the table at all. But I mean, there are literally, millions of dollars that are sitting there that are untapped. Okay, Joe, I see what you're saying. So, okay, Joe, you can fix it alone. You alone. You know what to do, 33 years in the real estate business. So, tell us what to do then. I'm not sure what the real estate business has to do with a crisis that came on by the pandemic. I don't think you need necessarily a license to figure this part out. This is people who don't have access to whatever. I mean, the money is there. If you haven't applied, you can't tell me that, I don't have any help. Well, have you applied? No, I didn't apply. Well, first you got to apply. Apply for the rental assistance. He said the average is about $6,000. That's substantial. And I got to believe that a lot of, landlords, especially those places like, homeowners are the ones who are really in the crunch right now, who are renting out their homes and just don't have it like that. But you get that $6,000 shot in the arm, and it's like, all right, we can work around the rest. Things are opening back up. People are going back to work. And even with all of the rise in COVID and the concerns around the Delta variant, again, we don't look like we're going back for a full shutdown, even though mask mandates are coming back. So as things open up, this is a good time for people to start negotiating with the people that they're renting from. But again, it's money on the table. It's one thing to walk away, there was no money, but there's money on the table. Till it's all gone, people shouldn't stop applying. And so look, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. I want to talk about Adelphia as well, the restaurant in South Jersey and what happened there over the last few days. And again, don't worry, this will not be the end of this conversation. There are a number of people who are working this from multiple angles. We want to hear from them on This Week. This is the Power Hour. Don't go anywhere. It's 6:41 in the morning.
As a community service, WURD Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where you can get barrier-free COVID-19 testing and vaccination this week. Tuesday, August 3rd and Thursday, August 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Deliverance Evangelistic Church, 2001 West Lehigh Avenue in Philadelphia. For more information, visit blackdoctorsconsortium.com. Stay informed and stay well with WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
When we look around during this pandemic time, we have many things to consider with people with whom we are involved. A few of these things are religion, gender, politics, race. They're working or maybe not working. A lawyer to help with legal matters. Well, I tell you this, I gave myself an obituary party. I invited about 75 people, and the undertaker, I invited the undertaker to my party. Let me tell you what, we went to a hotel, we laughed, danced, had fun, and I explained why I gave myself this obituary party. What do you think about that? Would you give this kind of party for yourself? I tell you, it makes you feel so good to know that your family did not have to worry about certain important things while they're crying through their tears. I was celebrating my passing from this world while I am still living. That's called an obituary party.
Save the date. Thursday, August 26th for WURD Radio's annual Founders Day celebration, honoring the life of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD. This year will be both in person and virtual. Stay tuned to WURD Radio and WURDradio.com for more information. That's Thursday, August 26th for our annual Founders Day celebration. Exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
This report sponsored by Staples Stores. Looking at the volume building on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound. Broad Penrose through construction. Further west in the area 202 to Mall Boulevard. So slowing through that work zone. Eastbound 76 looking good. Westbound Vine Expressway slow without the Brodigan Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Southbound Boulevard Route 1. Some volume there. A bit slow from Broad down to Wissahickon through construction. Southbound 95 heavy Cotton the Bridge again from Allegheny down through Girard northbound moving fine. 55 northbound Deptford into 42 getting a bit busy there now. Staples Connect is amazing prices for everything on your back to school list. Right now, Crayola 12 count color pencils, 10 plus 2 Crayola marker bonus pack, and Staples 2-pack scissors are just 97 cents each. Offer ends at 9/18. Limit 30 on Crayola, limit 6 on scissors. Staples. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Unseasonably cool weather for the next couple days and turning cloudier. Increasing high clouds this morning, mostly cloudy this afternoon, a high of 81 degrees. Humidity stays low today and again tomorrow. Tomorrow, another mostly cloudy day with a high of 79. Then sunshine breaks through those clouds up to 85 on Thursday. There is, though, a chance of a late day shower or thunderstorm. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour, and check this out. Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. And I'll add parenthetically, as they travel over America's best roads. This year we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, Northwest, and South Philly. Tiffany Bacon will broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. to noon. Our next stop is South Philly at the Marion Anderson Rec Center, 740 South 17th Street on Friday, August 6th. That's this Friday. Enjoy live performances, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at Marion Anderson Rec Center from 10 to noon. That's right, this week. Boom, that just happened. Great interview with State Senator Haywood. And I don't know, Raphael, if Bishop is still on vacation with the elites in Martha's Vineyard. Where'd that come from? Where you been hiding? Weak, Rev. Thanks, Joe. At least you're consistent. Glad to know you still think I'm weak. And yet you listen. I don't know. Maybe you like weak coffee. Apparently you like weak talk show hosts. God, you just lay it up there so I can just dump it in. Appreciate that. Glad to see Asa Khalif. Hey, Asa. Somebody has borrowed your bullhorn. Did you see it? I'm looking right at this picture from the news story of the activist in South Jersey. And I'm almost sure I see your initials on that. Did you loan her your bullhorn? Outside the Adelphia restaurant in Deptford. You know, don't you hate when you see stories about places that you frequent? It's like, oh, crap. Another place I can't go to. It's like, this is actually worse than what happened at Starbucks. At Starbucks, they just called the cops on two guys who were trying to use the restroom and have a business meeting as they sat there, unbeknownst to them that the police had been called. They were just politely escorted out and arrested, you know, because that's how Starbucks does it. They're gentlemen and gentlewomen. It's like, no, this is Starbucks. We have a way of doing this. We're going to do this the nice way. Not at Adelphia, apparently. They got security there. Young man from Camden got into an altercation with one of the security guards who, for some reason, was channeling his inner Alabama. You know, wanted to relive the civil rights movement. You do know people like dress up all the time to relive the Civil War. They're reenactors. They get in the full garb. They go around playing, some dressed in their grays as the Confederacy, others in their blues as the North, the Union, and they go at it. So apparently this white security guard was trying to channel his inner Eyes on the Prize, probably told somebody to film it in black and white. Is that an option on iPhones? Yeah, Asa, they practiced old school confrontation because they were dealing with like old school racism. It's like, Fire with fire, bro. Fire with fire. They say, oh, you want to go old school? We'll go old school right back at you. I'm surprised they didn't pull water hoses out on the young man. I mean, that's the only thing that was missing. My man had an attack dog. This was not the Deptford Police Department, people. This was a security guard. What the hell is a security guard at a restaurant doing with an attack dog? Somebody please explain this to me. I don't understand. So activists there are going in, and they are definitely going in on them. And so if you want to support them, you certainly can. I got to believe they'll probably be back there today as well. They are seeking an apology from the restaurant, damages for the young man, and other things as well. Adelphia. You pass it all the time when you go to the Deptford Mall. Wow. What's up, Aunt Young? Glad to see you. Rochelle Bilal, no, I don't know about the event you're talking about. Can you please post it? Women rally tomorrow at 6 p.m. Can you just put the details in there? And we can also share that on tomorrow. Shout out to Simone Biles, who got a bronze on the beam. Thank you, Tawanda, for correcting me yesterday. I said the beams. There's only one beam. She took bronze on this morning here in the States, this evening there where she's competing. But she is, so congrats to her for battling through what was a very tough time mentally. And as we get ready to get close to the end of the show, a few things I'm just trying to get in here. Simone ought to be happy she didn't have Richard Williams as her daddy. Flown over there. I bring that up because Philly's own Will Smith, I don't know how I missed this, but this would have been a great question and a great to get some good insight from Katia Woods on last week when she was telling us about films. King Richard is coming out, about the father of Venus and Serena. You know you're big time when they don't even need to say your last name. Venus and Serena's dad. And they have other siblings that a lot of folk don't know about, who also went on to do great things. They're just not world famous. But he said in the trailer, Will Smith said, he was talking to the social worker who came to the house to check on the girls there in Compton. He said, I wrote a 78-page plan for their lives before they were born. That's the dude that you want. If you're in a strategic planning meeting, it's kind of like, what is our organization about? Call Richard Williams. Because he will write that thing and he will make it happen. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Raphael on this. Will Smith doesn't look like Richard Williams. You know who could have probably done a better job? The guy who played the blues singer opposite of Muddy Waters in the movie Cadillac Records. Anybody remember that? What was that guy's name? Dark-skinned guy. Did you see that movie, Kwesa? Cadillac Records?
I did see it. I'm trying to think because I know that there was another guy who was in it too, but it's not who I'm, because I know Columbus Short was in it, but that's not the person I think you're talking about.
He played his nemesis. It was not Wolfman. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. But he was actually a great blues singer too, and I think kind of eclipsed Muddy Waters in all honesty. But the actor who played him looks a lot like Richard Williams, in my opinion. So I tend to agree with Raphael on this one. But it's Will Smith. So you got to think, look, a part of the casting choice had to do with the fact that it's Will Smith, and people are going to pay to see Will Smith. Not that I think you really needed to sell the Richard Williams story, right? I mean, it just is what it is. So Anyway, that's going to be a great film. Look forward to seeing it, regardless of the fact that it's Will Smith and not someone else. It's going to be good, and they deserve that. Howlin' Wolf. Yeah, there you go. Eamon Walker, or Eamon Walker. Howlin' Wolf. That dude kind of looks like Richard Williams, doesn't he? And he's got that attitude that could have probably played him. I guarantee you he probably read for that. They were like, yeah, come on and read. We giving it to Will. Will can get what he wants because he's Will Smith. So that's too bad. It's just like that sometimes. Sorry, not sorry. It's Will. What you gonna do? Anyway, that's all the time we have today. Tomorrow, like I said, we're going to continue this conversation with housing, and we may have a voice from one of the protests in D.C., live from the scene, running that down right now. Thank you, Kuwesa. Thank you to all the callers. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to State Senator Art Haywood. And let's continue to fight. Hey, if you know people who are out there who are facing eviction, tell them to apply. There's money on the table. Get in the pipeline now. Do not suffer in silence. And if you have to, help them fill out the application. Go out and do what Bishop Royster would say. If he were here right now and change the damn world, start by helping somebody keep their home where they are right now. Stay tuned for Wake Up with Word. And Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll see you here tomorrow. Peace.